Good morning. We hope you are well on the 1st of May. A special hello to my good friend Dermot Keys today. Hope you are keeping well, Dermot. And hello to all our listeners, people texting in already about different songs to play on the 1st of May. Billy used to play a song a few years ago. He didn't play it for quite a few years, but we'll see if we can take out a little bit of it later on in the programme. First day of summer, my birthday today, spending it with my husband David and daughters Holly and Katie. That is from Emer. Happy birthday to you, Emer. If we don't get to any of your requests today, we will get to as many as possible. The phenomenal amount of texts and messages we get is just, it's inspiring. It really is, that people text not just serious matters but also personal messages regarding loved ones and birthdays, and the listenership is really, we appreciate it so much. Everybody here in WLR does, from everybody on the breakfast team, myself to Jeff, to later on with Aveen, and later on and John O'Shea and everybody. So thank you everybody for keeping in touch. Good morning, Damien. I'd love to hear John Denver, Sunshine on My Shoulder, please, if possible, from Sandra Barrett. Hello to Sandra. And Sandra says, have a safe and healthy weekend to all at WLR FM and to all our listeners out there. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for joining us. I met some people yesterday who were talking about that they listen to WLR now. They mightn't have in the past, and they really do appreciate the information that we give out. We like to mix this programme up, as I said, with light and shade. We're going to be talking to some Gardaí in a minute. Sinead Ahern from our news team went out and was talking to some Gardaí about what's happening over the weekend. We're going to be talking to Dermot Dwyer, Deputy General Secretary of the ASTI. What do you think about teachers working over the summer? Should they be doing it? Here's a good one. A young boy, he's in County Meath, he's in primary school. It is a Catholic school, and his parents didn't want him to do his Holy Communion. He didn't want to do his Holy Communion himself. You could say the parents, it was their decision to say he's not doing his Holy Communion. All the others in the school got a homework pass. He didn't get one. So the parents, instead of just sort of taking this and feeling, no, that's not right, and just grumbling, they decided to do something about it. So they went to the Workplace Relations Commission. What did he get? What did the family get? €5,000 because he was discriminated against. What do you think? Good idea? Bad idea? 083 3333 975. Text or WhatsApp. Also, my old friend Joe was doing a bit of an interview yesterday with a few people about normal people. Sally Rooney. What do you think? Too much Rudy stuff in it? Let us know, please. 083 3333 975. Text or WhatsApp. Or you can call Laura on 051 846 123. We're also going to be talking to Lindsay about puppy separation. We didn't get to that yesterday. And we've the head of Facebook in Ireland talking about communities coming together and also false news being spread on Facebook. We're going to have more of that interview with Liam Cahill. Liz from our news team got an interview with Liam Cahill yesterday afternoon, the Waterford hurling manager. And we have a lot more besides. I want to say a special mention to Margaret Burke. It's the first anniversary of her death on Saturday. Margaret from Cappoquin died of pancreatic cancer, and we spoke 3 months before she died to the show. So we're thinking of her husband Pat and the family. So to those in Cappoquin, to Pat and the family and those relatives and friends of Margaret Burke, first anniversary of her death. I can't believe it's a year already. Special mention to all those working in the Foot Clinic. Also, we got an email from Amy Whelan. Can you give the Dungarvan Community Hospital a shout, in particular to the staff, Magella at St Anne's Unit and Michael McGrath, St Finbarr's Unit. This week was the first time since March 13th that Amy and her granddad Oliver Keown saw their nan Margaret Keown. The hospital has facilitated and introduced WhatsApp video calls with patients. He's been finding it very tough not seeing his nan, and they've been married for over 60 years. Having met in London all those years ago. If you could play A Love That Lasted Through the Years by Big Tom and Margot, that would be great. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to play that. We'll try. If we don't get to it, Amy, special mention to you and everybody involved in the hospital there. I'm going to go straight now to a brief package that Sinead, our news reporter, did, Sinead Ahern, on Garda operations coming up over the weekend. What do you think about the restrictions not being lifted? Another 2 weeks at least. Let us know, please. Sinead was talking to Superintendent Mick Lacey from Dungarvan, Inspector Gavin Hegarty, Sergeant in Charge in Dungarvan, as well Alan Toft. Here is Sinead's report.
Garda are out in force across Waterford city and county as part of Operation Connacht. They're stopping drivers to ensure they're only undertaking essential journeys. The checkpoints are in place for 14 hours a day since Tuesday and will continue until Monday night. Superintendent Mick Lacey's over the Dungarvan district. He understands that people are getting frustrated.
Our role has changed since about the 16th of March, somewhere around there on St Patrick's Day. And it's kind of being out there in the public and being a visible presence out there and a reassuring presence for people as well. So the guards are still out there, we're still responding to calls, we're still dealing with the day-to-day stuff, but we also want to play our part in this pandemic. We've changed our roster tours of duty, the members are now working longer. It's a difficult time for everybody, and I can appreciate 5-6 weeks in that people are getting a little bit frustrated about the issues that are being asked of them, and that's what we're trying to kind of ask people, just to stay with this a little bit longer. Like, we're nearly there. The medical advice and the scientific data would show that we're trending in the right direction, but we're not there yet. And we just need people just to stay with this a little bit longer. We don't want to see a second spike or another spike in cases of COVID cases or deaths or serious medical issues in ICU units. We don't want to see that. But if we stick with this a little bit longer, stick with the social distancing, stick with the restrictions on movement and that's helping, and it's clear that it's helping, and we want to see that continue for as long as it's necessary. And people are a little bit frustrated about that, but the benefits are there for everyone. Like, we have to look after the elderly and the vulnerable, which this disease is particularly targeting or affects, and that's what we need to be doing.
In the lead up to Operation Connacht, Garda and Waterford City were becoming concerned about people flouting the restrictions. Here's Inspector Gavin Hegarty.
A lot more movement of vehicles on our roads, a lot more people going for what we would deem to be really not essential journeys. So people are kind of pushing the boundaries as to what an essential journey is. So we're seeing people going to the shop several times a day. We're seeing people taking bus trips. We took people off a bus that were travelling from Waterford to Cork, just to go to Cork for the day. Had no legitimate reason to go to Cork outside of boredom. And we get that, we understand that. We understand that people have been asked to do something that they've never been asked to do before in their lives. But I suppose they've been asked to do that for a really, really important reason. And if the breaking down of the rules continues, then we're going to have a situation where the restrictions are going to be in place for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks more.
Alan Toft is the sergeant in charge at Dungarvan Garda Station. He describes what they're seeing.
In general, people are compliant, but we have noticed certain amenity areas where people have been going to, and in conjunction with the local council, we have organised for a number of car parks to be shut, and this seems to have the right effect, the likes of Clonea or Colligan Wood. Unfortunately, we've had instances where people from as far as Kilkenny have turned up at Clonea Beach. We've had people having picnics in Colligan Wood with their children, which is totally unacceptable in the current climate. You should only be travelling 2k, and personally speaking, if you have to get in a car to travel, you shouldn't be getting in the car to travel. If you can't do within walking distance, stay at home. The likes of buses now, say the local link that's travelling in from the likes of Tallow and Cappoquin, we're now boarding those buses and we're ascertaining what people are travelling for and what their reason for travelling. And we have come across instances where people are just coming in from out west just for the day to get into Dungarvan, because obviously, like everyone else, they're cooped up and it's affecting a lot of people and they just want to get out for the day. But again, it's not acceptable. It's outside 2k. They shouldn't be travelling if it's not essential. For example, we're stopping people at Youghal Bridge coming across from Youghal, travelling up to Dungarvan to go shopping. You can shop in Youghal, there's plenty of shops there. We'll also get instances where people are 2-3 people in a car going shopping. One person should suffice. There's no need for 2 or 3 people to go to the shops. We have a number of static checkpoints which are more than likely on the main routes, but we also have a lot of roving checkpoints on the back roads. So where we have our static checkpoints and they're there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock, we also during the day have a number of rolling checkpoints at different locations. In other words, trying to get people on the back roads. Just again, trying to educate them, trying to explain to them what we're doing.
Superintendent Lacey says their other day-to-day work is continuing.
We deal with all the issues that we would normally deal with, and we'll continue to deal with that. I want the public to be reassured that we will respond to the calls that we're getting, and we will deal with the things that are presented to us, whether it's domestic violence or public order, assaults, burglaries. They form part of our response, and we have the resources to deal with that.
They're encouraging people with any concerns to contact them.
As would have been the case, if people see something that is out of the ordinary, that it's a strange person in a particular area or a strange vehicle in a particular area, that it's not normal for it to be there, is to contact us and we'll follow it up. That's what we're here to do. We're here to respond to people's issues or people's concerns, and where they have concerns about their property or suspicious activity in their area, to notify us and we'll deal with it.
The best way to contact us is by phone. Rather than coming to the station, ring us. We're always at the end of the phone. We'll take any call and we'll deal with it appropriately after that.
And thank you very much to the Gardaí for talking to our news team, and thanks to Sinead for that report. Let us know what you think, please. Good morning. Damien does riding a bicycle in Tramore every day to sit outside a closed cafe 10 kilometres at least from your home. Is that breaking the rules? From Tom. Can you play It's a Great Day to Be Alive by Travis Tritt, is it? Because of the times we're in. Laura, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm grand.
Good. You're a resident of the Mountfield estate in Tramore.
I sure am.
We have been campaigning on this. We had Niamh on and a number of other people talking about it. Basically, what is the situation regarding the Mountfield estate in Tramore?
So we moved into our house actually just the weekend gone a year ago. And when we bought the house, we were shown the fibre cables and that we were going to have fibre broadband like nearly straight away, or so we thought. But only the first 14 houses, I'm led to believe, were connected originally. So nobody else in the estate has had fibre broadband since.
How many houses are in the estate approximately?
There are, I believe, 50 have moved in. Like there's 50 houses, fully built now.
Yeah. So the first 14. So basically the ducting and everything was put in by the contractor, and Air, the previous company that was responsible for all the different putting in the broadband, they did the first 14 houses, but they stopped.
Yes. Well, you see, we don't really know because they're very hard to get in contact with. So,
well, we managed to get in contact with them. We got through to them. We got through to Air. We got through to Open Air. And what happened in the last few days?
So yesterday there were 2 engineers outside our house, and like everybody else, just like that. So like everybody else, God, I feel so sorry for them, because anytime there's a van of any kind that comes into the estate, like there's somebody goes out to ask them. So I just went out and I just said, look, I'm going to be the first to say it to you. Just what's the story? What are you doing? So they were actually there to connect one of our neighbours to fibre broadband. So I was like, oh, so she's like we're good to go. And I was like, would you mind just checking if we're good to go? Because, you know, like plenty of people in the estate have signed up to those bigger companies, and only to be told like when they arrive. Like we tried to get Air out at one stage and they arrived and your man said like, oh, your wires are not connected. So like I've come out to do the job, can't do the job, sorry. But having no recourse for us because we had nowhere to go then, like they just cancel your contract. So he was like, no, he said like there's 7 lines from where I am here that are live. He said your house is one of them. So I wasn't kind enough to ask about everybody in the estate, but I know another one of our neighbours called down. She lives in the row across from us, and they've been in for actually a year longer than us. She was like, no way you're getting internet and I'm not getting it first. So she came down. Now, in fairness to the engineers, they were great. Yeah. They actually went off then around the estate, I think, checking kind of for as many people who had kind of come out. Yeah,
somebody been on to me saying that a number of houses have been connected, possibly up to 32, 37, those houses as well, in the last couple of days or yesterday. So we've been on to Air again this morning. Again, we were on to the council and they made some calls for us. We told Air we were going to do this on the programme. They said that it looks like it might be the new broadband company that would be doing it rather than Air, but Air still has the capability to put in broadband on areas where they would have the ducting would be there. So it's a case of coming in and doing it if the time is right and if I suppose the pressure is there. So maybe they've responded to the pressure, but you can get broadband 4G over but you can't get any of the service, I suppose, television systems. And all the
we have wireless broadband at the moment, but we've actually had to purchase kind of extra. Now, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I really don't. My husband is a software engineer, so he does it all. Right. But he bought kind of extra hardware stuff that he's put throughout the house so that the signal is okay for him. And obviously he's working from home at the moment, so like it was really needed. And I do feel really sorry for a lot of our estate who are working from home or attempting to work from home. And like the mobile signal is basically non-existent. Like I have no signal in my house. Yeah. Once I close the front door, don't bother ringing me unless you're ringing me on WhatsApp, because I just won't answer. Yeah, I won't be able to. It just doesn't ring like. So I would say that it's been fairly stressful for those kind of people. Not like, I mean, it's not the most major issue. It's only internet, but like even the mobile broadband isn't great. Like it does work for some people who I do believe have got the kind of routers and stuff. But like the wireless has been grand for us up to now, but we are hoping to move over to the fibre.
Well, it's great that there's something happening. We've been on to them again this morning, and if they're responding, it's great, and a bit of people power. So let us know how it goes over the weekend.
I will, of course.
And we'll talk to you maybe on Tuesday morning. Laura, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mind yourself. So if you're out in Mountfield, let us know, please. Have you been connected this morning or yesterday? And see how it goes. Could you play The Life of Brian, please? Always look on the bright side of life. Damien, could you play a Paddy Green song, Lovers by Paddy Green? It gives me great comfort at this hard time. It would be nice if it was played more often. Great singer, R.I.P. Thank you, from Bernie. Damien, I was in my local Spar yesterday. I was parking and I saw a guy living in Kilmeaden coming to the local Spar outside of the area. Are people going outside of their areas? Let us know, please. 083 333 975. Give a special 50th birthday mention to my wonderful husband Paul O'Brien. Love from Francis. Hello, Francis. Damien, on the issue of social distancing and Garda checkpoints, I'm being stopped by Garda when going to the bank or supermarket. What about all other children that might be out in different areas? The Garda are doing their best is exactly what they have to say. Stay with us. Next, we're going to be talking about teachers. Now, we've so much to get through in the show today. I'm going to be talking to Dermot Dupuer, Deputy General Secretary of the ASTI, in a second. Firstly, I want to give a special mention to the Brophy family. They're relatives of Davy Brophy. Davy died in the last few days. I believe his funeral is today. A special mention to Liz and to all the family. I interviewed Davy last year, you might remember, up in Sleevekeel Road, and he was looking for a home care package, and he was terminally ill. So our deepest sympathy to the Brophy family. Now I am going to go to Dermot. Good morning, Dermot.
Good morning, Damien.
How are you?
I'm not too bad in these strange times.
OK, let's get straight down to it, Dermot. Will some teachers be working in July?
I think most teachers will probably, as things stand at the moment, will be working in July.
OK, just explain that, sorry. Yeah. What do you mean most teachers? Like, would it not be only the teachers that are going to be teaching Leaving Cert classes?
Well, look, the absolute details are not yet clear. We're in discussions with the department, with the State Exams Commission, with various other bodies who are involved. But what the government have asked is that teachers would be available. There's two tranches. There's to actually conduct the Leaving Cert exams, to be there for that. Obviously, that's with the State Exams Commission. But there's also that they've asked for a couple of weeks, 2 weeks teaching prior to the exams happening at the end of July. Now, they've asked this to be approached on a whole school basis. As I say, we don't know the full details. Obviously, the teachers with Leaving Cert students would be the priority in terms of that. But if we don't know exactly what's going to happen in terms of how many people are going to be allowed in a class, how many classes are going to be allowed in a school at the same time, so there may be a need for other teachers to come in and do some of the work as well.
OK. And can I ask you...
Obviously, then there will be teachers who may have Leaving Cert students who will not be able to do it because they have serious underlying conditions or whatever themselves. So there are issues that will have to be dealt with there as well.
Yes, like today is May Day, it's the Workers' Day. Can I ask you, members of the ASTI, if a member said to you, I'm not going to work in July, I am entitled, under my contract, to have June and July and August off, effectively.
Yes.
You can't make me work. If you want to give me a few bob or offer me a little bit extra, if the government wants to offer me extra, that's fine, but I don't want to work and that's it. What do you say as a union rep to that person? Do you defend them? Do you say, yeah, you're right?
Well, what I would say is I'm going to dodge the question first and then I'll come back.
No, don't dodge it.
No, I will come back. Please let me. When the government made the announcement that this is what they were looking for, our executive, the Standing Committee of the ASTI, met that day, was Good Friday, and that evening, and their reaction was to say, we will consult as much as we can with members. Obviously, that's not particularly easy, but people had emails and phone numbers and whatever, and over that weekend, a huge number of teachers contacted their local representatives, their area representatives, and the overwhelming view was we will support this. So there may be people, and obviously you're right, there is no contractual obligation, but I think the vast majority of teachers, as they have done over the last few weeks, will be stepping up to the plate. We have asked, and part of our discussions with the department are to do with June. The Minister said when he was saying this that people should have a break in June, students, teachers, everybody, and we think this is a very good idea. By the way, one of the interesting things, the reaction from teachers over that weekend, they had a lot of concerns. The vast majority of them were to do with the students and were to do with the students' welfare and the practicality and the equality issues which have arisen because of this, in terms of people who have access to to machinery, basically,
yeah.
to being able to, and people, for example, who are living out of hotel rooms and where school was the only place, maybe they could actually have a bit of peace and quiet to study. So there's huge equality issues that have arisen for this. There are obviously practical issues about childcare. There are issues about public transport, school transport. There are issues about space and whatever, but we're not going to speculate on those. These are issues that will have to be worked out by the department, by the Exam Commission, and discussed with us. But the vast majority of our members have said to us that they will do their bit in this.
Okay.
We've also established there will be no precedent set on either side.
I understand that, and I'm not in any way doubting the bona fides of teachers here, not at all, Dermot. I'm asking from a purely practical perspective. Like you've just said, the vast majority of your teachers said they will help out or whatever. Like, have you?
They'll do their best.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you surveyed them?
No, we haven't.
Okay. So that statement you've just made, the vast majority of your teachers. Where is that coming from? Is that just you?
It's coming from. We have a
you haven't surveyed them.
No, we have an executive of 23 members.
Yeah.
All of them got in touch with, sent out emails, said, please get in touch with me over the weekend. Each one of them got well into between 150 and 200 replies.
Okay.
That, you multiply that, you're talking about 2,500, 3,000 teachers who actually got in touch.
Okay.
And you would also, by the way, you would expect, if anything, that to be disproportionately the ones who have issues and problems would be the ones who'd be getting in touch, the ones who'd say, I'm not doing this. But in fact, the vast majority of them were saying, we want to be part of this. That was the reaction. We haven't had a scientific survey, but it is a pretty good
barometer. Yeah, okay. And to go back to the initial question...
The way we work, we welcome this. If there were huge numbers of teachers who had problems with that, they'd be letting us know, I can assure you of that.
Okay, but to go back to the initial question then, if a teacher didn't want to, for whatever reason, as you say, he or she is fully within their rights to say, I am not going to work in July. They're fully within their rights, and they're fully within their rights to expect you to defend their right to say that.
Yes, and if something happens, if anything happens, I mean, if disciplinary action is taken against a teacher who is fulfilling the terms of their contracts, of course we will defend them. I mean, we are not trying to send out a message, nobody should do this. We have welcomed this in principle, and the vast majority, and teachers actually are concerned about their students, and that
of course.
And so therefore they will be doing what they can. As teachers have done the distance learning over the last few weeks as well.
Yes.
I mean, some of them could have argued, well, it's not in my contract, I'm supposed to go into school. They don't do that. What they've been doing is they've been doing classes, they've been setting work, they've been working very hard, they've been trying to encourage their students to stay in school. Obviously, for the exam class students, in particular the leaving students, maybe that's a bit easier. It's harder to persuade a student in second year that actually, it's important that they work away. But most of them are, and the teachers are working very hard. And
they are.
We all know working from home sounds great, but it's not.
No, it's not.
They are working hard. There's no reason to expect anything different.
And we're getting marvellous reports. I'd agree with you. For example, just last night I learned that the teachers in Rhine, in the secondary school there, and in terms of the Leaving Cert, they're offering 3 hours face-to-face individual contact with students of the Leaving Cert to go through different things, and it's great. And the stuff that's been done is it really is very good. But what it means, Dermot, I suppose, is just on this. You don't know yet exactly how we don't know how this is going to play out. So, for example,
not exactly.
You'll obviously go on, yeah.
In reference to what you just said, one of the ministers asked was that there would be, prior to the 2 weeks that they're hoping that the schools can open for Leaving Cert students, that prior to that, in the first couple of weeks of July, that teachers would maintain not classes but contact exactly of the kind you're talking about with their Leaving Cert students to reassure, to help them, to answer questions, to maybe set them particular work if they feel they need it. And obviously there's also another of the practical issues, not making a pun, but the practical examinations, the project components and all those things also have to be done during this time.
Yeah, that's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And there are issues then about whether there are advantages or disadvantages. Whether the students who have more project work or practical work might be disadvantaged because they will have less time to be spending on the other subjects which don't have these components.
And the Leaving Cert Applied group as well, I think they've been
The Leaving Cert Applied group have been made a priority for us, and we understand for the parents, in talks, that are ongoing with the government. The government have said that they will have these. Now, the government will make the final decisions on this. Let nobody think otherwise. So we can't be blamed for whatever they do. But they have organised to consult a group of all the education partners, which includes the management bodies in the schools, the teachers, the students, the parents. And that's very good. But obviously there will also be talks on the more, I suppose, industrial relations side of things, which might be exclusively with the teachers' unions about where there are issues. Because we have concerns which have to be answered. As I say, there are concerns about childcare, there are concerns about teachers who have underlying health problems, there are concerns about what will happen in a school if there's an outbreak during it, and how does that affect those students.
There are so many issues. Yes,
there are so many issues that have to be worked out. But what we have committed to do is to providing the best solution for the students, who have to be the priority in this.
And can I ask you one other brief question, if you wouldn't mind, Dermot, please? Will ye be looking for more money for teachers that work in July?
We take it if we're given it.
Will you be looking for it?
No. I mean, other than the normal money for people who do exam works. In fact, one of the other things that came back from the reaction from the teachers is we don't want this to become part, because there were some suggestions where we should bargain for some of the things we're looking for in terms of equal pay, in terms of other issues that are out there. But
that'd look bad, wouldn't it?
The clear message was, this is the crisis, this is a national crisis. Teachers are willing to play their part, as they have been, and they will be frontline workers for that period. What we will be looking for is support in things like childcare. What we will be looking for also is that things are remembered. We'll be looking for a bit of time in June, which I think everybody wants. We also don't know what's going to happen in September, because it may not be easy or possible for schools to open at a normal time in September, even if all the medical things are in place, because you will have teachers, first of all, who have been working, and students who have been working all year, and secondly, you will have people correcting exams, doing that sort of thing. So it's difficult to see how there will be a normal opening to schools, but hopefully things will get back to normal sooner rather than later.
Dermot, thank you very much, and mind yourself.
You too.
Thanks, Dermot.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dermot Dupuer there, Deputy General Secretary of the ASTI, the Association of Secondary Teachers of Ireland. Now, as you heard, the Frank Patterson hymn just before the ads, and we sure like to mix it up here on the show. So, holy God, here's Michael Nugent, Chair of the Atheist Ireland. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm grand. In these weird times.
Yes.
A lot of things are put into perspective.
Catholic schools that reward pupils who attend religious ceremonies are discriminating against non-Catholic pupils, the Workplace Relations Commission has found. That's the opening paragraph in Carl O'Brien's piece on the front page of the Irish Times today. Remind us about this. It's a boy whose parents are atheists. They were discriminated against. He was discriminated against at his primary school in County Meath.
Yes, what happened was that the school was trying to encourage people to take part in religious ceremonies, coming up to communion and singing choirs and things like that. So what they did was they gave homework passes to the children that attended to those religious ceremonies. And obviously, an atheist child or child of atheist parents isn't going to attend those religious ceremonies. So that child didn't get the homework pass. And it's not just an academic thing or a human rights thing. Look, when you're talking about children being isolated from the rest of their schoolmates like that, the child is very hurt. Discrimination like that hurts. And it was, unlike other things, children can sense injustice. Children know when they're being treated unfairly. And so they went to the Workplace Relations Commission, and it found correctly that it was a breach of the Equal Status Act. It's an important victory for the right to freedom of belief. And freedom of belief applies just as much to atheist families as it does to religious families.
And the Workplace Relations Commission, in finding and making that finding, then it gave damages. I suppose they've called it an award in respect of discriminatory treatment, and ordered the school to review its policies. This was the Yellow Firs Primary School in County Meath, and they've awarded €5,000. That's a bit excessive, is it?
Well, the parents ended up having to take the child out of the school. So it disrupted their life considerably. But I mean, when it says they have to review their policies, that's the key to the whole thing. Because what this is about, there's a background to this, which is that you have a right under the Constitution to attend any school without attending religious classes or ceremonies. And schools have got away for years with just forcing children to do that anyway. But in recent years, a lot of parents have come to Atheist Ireland for advice. A lot of parents are standing up to schools on that. And schools are beginning to realise that they can't get away with that anymore. Parents are just saying, this is our constitutional right. We're not going to take part in it. So what they're doing now is they're just trying to make it awkward and make it difficult for parents to exercise that right. They say the child will have to go to the back of the class. They say it's religious education, not religious instruction. They do this sort of thing of offering rewards for children who do go to religious ceremonies and punishments for children who don't. And there's a background to that, which is that in order to try to stop that, the recent admissions to school bill from 2 years ago told schools that they have to put in their policies how they deal with children, put in their admissions policies how they deal with children who are not going to religious classes or ceremonies, so that the parents will know beforehand and can make appropriate decisions beforehand. But what the schools are doing now, they're reviewing their policies under the Act, but they're just saying, our policy is that you have to come to a meeting to discuss it. Now, that doesn't address the issue. That's another example of this. It's just trying to get around the fact that they can't directly discriminate anymore.
OK, listen, it's a really interesting topic and it's going to, I'd say, provoke a lot of texts and messages. Michael, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Michael Nugent there, chairperson of Atheist Ireland, regarding that Workplace Relations Commission award. What do you think? €5,000? Is it a lot? Is it too much? Were they right? Were they wrong? Like the Catholic school said, it enjoyed a proud tradition of participating in religious ceremonies and that music was an integral part in this, and that its code of behaviour provided that all children who participate in extracurricular activities or events will receive a reward, in inverted commas, for doing so. Let us know, please. Let us know. Now, lovely to hear that song, Damien. Thank you so much for playing it. Nora Casey in Caseyville. Keep up the tradition. Lovely to hear Frank Patterson. Good morning, Damien. Mary Ryan says, takes me back to my school days. Another texter, thank you for that, Damien. A little tear here. Oh my God, I haven't heard that in years. My dad loved Frank Patterson. Would have been his birthday today. In tears here from Breda in Stradbally. Good morning, Damien. My father sang this to us on the 1st of May all our lives. He had his voice trained by Brendan Boyer's father and travelled with his sister each week to Waterford from Dungarvan for lessons. Keep up the tradition, says Tony. Lovely to hear that song. Stay with us, please. Now, keep your texts and comments coming in. We're going to be talking to Lindsay Powers from In the Doghouse about separation regarding animals. 083 333 975 or Laura's on 051 846 123. You can also text in the word hero and the name of the person that you want to nominate for the Community Hero Award, courtesy with our partners SE2. Well done to SE2 for helping promote that really, really good award. We're doing it every week. €250 voucher to spend later in the year, or if you're out and about. A lot of people are out and about in Dungarvan, says this texter in the square. Around there yesterday, couldn't get parking. It was mad. And another lovely text. Queen of the May, I always think when I wanted to join the Abbyside Church choir back in the early 70s, the late Greta Flynn asked me to sing a verse. I did and got into the choir, and for many years, the three of us from our family in that choir, Dad, Eddie Moore, Eddie Jr. and myself, Richie. A special hello to you all. Good morning, Lindsay. How are you?
Good morning, Damien. Not too bad, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about anxiety in dogs and the fact that a lot of animals, dogs in particular, dog owners, you're spending a lot of time with their pets at present. And the dogs love it, do they?
Oh, they're having their best life. Yeah, I'm sure. They have attention all day long. People are in the garden. We've been so lucky with the weather as well. So they're out. They're mixing and they're part of the family. Even for the dogs that are mainly outdoor dogs, they're now actually probably mixing a lot more than they've ever done with the family, which for dogs is really, really important because they are sociable creatures. They are they are pack animals. That's the way they're supposed to be. So they are meant to be with company, whether it be humans or dogs or whatever it is. So dogs that spend a lot of time alone do suffer. So at the moment, they're actually really, really enjoying themselves, and they're probably getting more walks than they actually want. I'm sure there's probably dogs hiding under the table now saying, no, not another one. But I think mine are like that at the minute, actually. Yeah, so they are actually, at the moment, this is the dog's best life. They're having a ball. They love the company and they are in their element.
Do you think routine is important for dogs in particular, and routine has been thrown out the window because of this? So what happens then if and when this ends and the end of it starts and the restrictions are lifted?
Yeah.
Is it a real thing? Anxiety and is it actually a real thing, or is it a made up thing?
No, it's 100% a real thing. So there is actually clinically diagnosed separation anxiety among dogs. However, it can be misdiagnosed as well. So, there's a lot of anxiety issues that would manifest. But before you actually get to the vet to medicate it with anti-anxiety medication, which would be something that I would, recommend if we've tried all other options. And sometimes the dogs are so bad, medication is the only way to help them, obviously with a behaviour modification plan, just like people. So it can help a lot, but it would be a very severe case. Now, what I would expect to see when we do get back to some sort of new normal, I do think we're going to end up seeing a lot of dogs that are actually getting into their new routine and actually getting, used to the way of life now and expecting it. And then when people go back to work or people go back, kids go back to school, there's going to be uproar with the dogs. Especially what I worry about really at the moment is we provide puppy socialisation training classes for puppies under the age of 18 weeks, which are currently not running, obviously, because of the restrictions. And one of the things that we do mention to people when they have puppies of that age, obviously, socialisation is really, really important, which I don't think the puppies that are, coming up in age now are going to get the relevant socialisation that's required to grow into a really happy, well, sociable, happy, friendly dog, because they are actually restricted from going too close to other people, to other dogs, to parks, everything. So I think that's one issue that we're going to see, that the dogs are not going to socialise very well, and they're going to be fearful and afraid of strangers and other places that they're not able to, acclimatise to at this stage. And the other side of it is puppies need a lot of reassurance with regards to being alone. So if a puppy comes into the home and are constantly with people and, they're active all day, which is not really normal for puppies either. They do need a lot of downtime, which maybe they mightn't get as much of with the kids at home. So I think when people go back to work, the puppies that are in their homes now won't have any way of coping with the new way of life. And you're going to see a lot of puppies, do a lot of damage in the home, get very anxious, get stressed, get sick. And people are probably going to get fed up of it. And unfortunately, the rescues are going to be bombarded then with the overflow.
Yeah, that's another thing that will happen then. What's going to happen afterwards, as you say, the overflow. And any dogs that are looking to be rescued at present, I presume there's not many dogs coming from rescue homes at present.
No, well, at the moment, a lot of the rescues are shut down, so they can't do home checks.
They can't.
They're not able to go to home checks, which is vital to make sure that the dog is going into the right place. So they can't do that with the restrictions on travel. So what's happening is all the dogs that are either in the pounds or in foster care or whatever are just there at the moment, and they're not going anywhere. And then there's no room to bring in any other dogs, which is, it's a big thing. Now, they're obviously, the rescues are still taking applications, and they're still going through them on paperwork, but they're not able to go to the homes, they're not able to meet the people, and that's where we're at the minute. Okay,
we'll see how it goes. Lindsay, have you a favourite happy song? What's your happy song that you play if you're in the shower before you go out?
Well, I suppose we'll have to go with Who Let the Dogs Out.
Who Let the Dogs Out?
When we talk about my line of work, but
we'll try and find that one. All right, Who Let the Dogs Out? Listen, we'll talk to you soon, Lindsay. Mind yourself.
Thanks, Damien. Bye.
Thank you very much, Lindsay Powers there for In the Doghouse from In the Doghouse. We'll play a little bit of Shiny Happy People from our REM in a second. We're looking for your favourite happy song for today. Let us know, please, because we're going to be playing a few more songs before the end of the programme. Breeder Brennan texted in, can you please play a request for our granddaughter Ella Robinson, who's celebrating her 9th birthday today. Lots of love and hugs from Nana, Baby, Grandad, Ken, Uncle, Lukey and Tibbs. Thank you very much. Another request for our lovely daughter who celebrates birthday today, Lisa Cantwell in the Paddocks. Please send her love. Wonderful daughter will celebrate properly soon. Love from Mam and Buster the dog. Damien, it was fabulous that you played Frank Patterson earlier on. Really enjoyed it. Eleanor phoned in to say she never heard such codswallop from Atheist Ireland in her life. If her son was left off the soccer team and they won and got a treat and her son didn't, would that be discrimination? It's ridiculous. Let us know what you think. Keep texting in 083 333 975.